The following is a Just Green production.
Hello, everyone. I don't know what week it is, but my name is Taylor Cooper, and this might be news to you. I don't really even know what to say at this section anymore because we're back. Kev, say what up, Kev.
What up, guys?
Say what up, Danny.
What up, guys?
We're back. Season 2 might be news. I don't even know what to do here because we're not going to really do the show the same way anymore. We're going to kind of like change it all up. We're going to go over that. But bottom line, I'm hyped to be back. Kev, are you hyped to be back?
Yo, I'm excited to be here.
Danny, are you excited to be here for the first time?
I'm excited.
This is going to be crazy. We got a new co-host. We got new format, new season. We're gonna do a big season 2. Season 2 is gonna be big. Again, my name is Taylor Cooper, and if you tuned in, season 1 might be news was awesome. We did 10 episodes. We weren't sure that we were gonna end it when we ended it, but we just kind of were just like, well, the news sucks. The news just sucks, right? There's just too much bad stuff going on, right, guys? I mean, it's just.
I agree with you.
It's all bad news. It's all bad news. So we're gonna kind of take a step back from that. We talked about some fun stuff last year too. Forever pill. Apparently, there's a pill that somewhere. No, it's not a pill, but they're working on basically a way to not age, right? So we talked about some other fun things last year too, but I just want to kind of do something a little different. We got some new segments we're going to do. One called What's the Point? We're going to do a late review, and we'll see where we go from there. I want to do some more things. Last year we didn't do the conspiracy theory episode. I know that Alex is still interested in doing that. But for now, we're going to start it off like we always do with a little bit of good news.
Hey, did you hear the news?
This better be good.
Want the good news or the bad news?
Give me the good stuff.
All right, so good news. Last season we did, like 3 stories a week. We'll just see what we come up with this year. But the one I have for this week, I think everybody's seen it floating around on Facebook. The news story talking about NASA trying to hire a planetary protection officer or whatever it's called. Apparently it's got good pay. They said it's like 6 figures. Anyway, this kid, Jack Davis, he's 9 years old. He wrote to NASA, "Dear NASA, my name is Jack Davis. I would like to apply for the planetary protection officer job. I may be 9, but I think I would be fit for the job. One of the reasons is my sister says that I am an alien. Also, I have seen almost all the space and alien movies I can see. I have also seen the show Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and hope to see the Men in Black. I'm great at video games. I am young, so I can learn to do anything like an alien." He wrote that letter to NASA, and NASA responded to him. Oh, Danny, here you go.
I mean, let's be serious. When I was 9 years old, I was more worried about, selling bubble gum and trying to make some money. And this kid's writing to NASA. This kid's going places in this world.
And his language was good. Like he said the straight up job, planetary protection officer job. Like he knows what he wants.
9 years old, I never would have had the guts to write to NASA for a job.
Did he spell it right?
I don't know how to spell, so I'm a bad judge of that. I'm sitting here literally reading the note that he wrote him. I mean, his handwriting could use some work. You're looking at it now.
He's 9!
Well,
he's 9 years old, and his handwriting is better than mine, and I'm 31. So he's already ahead of me in this world.
He said, "Sincerely, Jack Davis, Guardian of the Galaxy, 4th grade." That's how he signed the letter. Incredible. So then NASA wrote back, where is it at? "I hear that you're a Guardian of the Galaxy and interested in being a planetary protection officer. That's great. Our planetary protection officer position is really cool and is very important work. It's about protecting Earth from tiny microbes when we bring back samples from the moon, asteroids, and Mars. We are always looking for bright future scientists and engineers to help us, so I hope you will study hard and do well in school. Hope to see you here at NASA one of these days." That's pretty awesome. What's awesome is that the kid wrote the letter to begin with, but then he actually got a response from NASA. How cool is that?
I mean, I'm going to start a petition. I think this kid should get the job regardless of how old he is. Get this kid that 6-figure job. Let's go.
Underqualified, overqualified, who cares? It took balls to write the letter to begin with. But anyway, yeah, that's the good news for right now. I had a couple other things, but I didn't really get the chance to do all the research I wanted to. But that's what we got for that. Welcome again to Season 2 of Might Be News. It's going to take us, at least me, a few minutes to get acquainted with the microphone again. It's stupid. But I'm happy to be back. It's been a nice little break. We kind of got tired of what we were doing before just because there was so much news going on, and we're not journalists. We just kind of took it a little serious. So I kind of got away from all the politics. Kev, what do you think?
I had fun doing it, but I think the new format is going to be a lot more fun and more interesting for people to listen to.
Less news, more might be news. That's what we're going with.
I'm down with it.
I mean, if you look at the news, a lot of the news that's out nowadays, it's depressing. Puts you in a bad mood, and that's not what we're here to do. We're here to have a good time, make you laugh, make you enjoy listening to the podcast. So, like they said, less news, more might be news.
As well as talk about some things that are kind of important too. I'm just promising to stay away from Trump and the politics of it all, unless something crazy is way crazier than what's already crazy happens, right? Something groundbreaking, like possible nuclear war or any of the number of things that we're involved in currently.
Zombie apocalypse.
Listen, if a zombie apocalypse happens, do not listen to Might Be News for updates. All right?
Listen, if there is a zombie apocalypse, the only thing I'm worried about is not showing my excitement while I snipe these zombies from my bedroom. I mean, let's be serious. I mean, that's the only thing I'm looking forward to.
I am looking forward to nothing in a zombie apocalypse. I will probably shit myself immediately. Speaking of that, we are in the process of taking the show and putting it on iTunes. So if you're listening to this and it's on iTunes, that means we did it right. If you're not listening to this on iTunes and have no way of listening to it on iTunes, that means we're still trying to get it together. But trying to get it on iTunes and Google Play, I am to understand that that's the Apple equivalent. Is that right?
I believe so.
Google Play.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because I'm sick of SoundCloud. I like SoundCloud personally, but that's because I'm a member of SoundCloud. I have the app and all that stuff. Some people just don't want to do that, and that's fine because you might not be interested in anything else besides Might Be News, and who cares? But I'm trying to make it easier for you and everyone that you know to listen to Might Be News because we're hoping to have a lot of fun this year doing this season, rather. It wasn't even a year ago that we were doing this. We only took, 2 months off, Kev?
Something like that.
I mean, we have good work ethic, Kev, right? We just got tired. I got burnt out of talking about the same, because we have to dig through a mile of shit to get to anything that I want to talk about on this show. So some of this stuff, one of those things, we got what's the point? We're going to do that here in a little bit. But just to explain, it's a section where I'm going to talk about something that, whatever it is, I found a movie I just saw that I'm going to recommend, or there's a specific news story on that I saw that I'm going to talk about, or I just tried a different thing at some restaurant I just went to. Holy shit, whatever. But I don't know. And then Kev and then Danny's going to do the same thing. Speaking of Danny, before me and Kev and we all talk about what we've done over the past 2 months, we have a new co-host on the show. I think that Kevin and I are very interesting people in our own rights, but we needed extra this season. I want more input. I want more diversity of opinions. Kevin and I agree on a lot of things. Except for our taste in music, our favorite sports, movies, entertainment.
Kev's more into
Video
politics. Kev's more into hockey. Taylor's more into football. So yeah, you guys are.
We agree on
two
some
peas in a
things.
pod.
We agree on some things. But anyway, no, I wanted to bring our good friend Dan Charlone in here to have some fun with us this season. I think it's going to be a blast. Me and Danny have worked together before on my old podcast, The Grimy Green Show. He's also known as Dan the Weatherman. He's got a really awesome social media following here locally for us. He does it all himself. I'm going to stop talking about it. Danny. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So like Taylor said, I still do Dan the Weatherman. I have a pretty good following on there. I usually bring all the local news and local stories to the people surrounding and in Chester County. Just looking to bring a little excitement to the group and have some fun while doing it.
Yeah, a little different insight. What do you think, Kev?
I got nothing to say.
He's a man of many words.
So, Kev, I'll ask a different question, Kev. What have you been up to the past couple months? Having fun, being a dad, doing all that
Just
stuff?
doing the dad thing. We went to the beach in late July, and we had fun there. And if anybody gets the chance to go to Wildwood and do their dolphin tour, I rode this very powerful, very fast boat with my family. I mean, it seats like 50 people. And they stir up these waves behind the boat and have these dolphins jumping and following you. It is the most awesome thing that I've seen down at the beach in a long time.
You actually saw dolphins.
Yeah.
Now, because we went on a dolphin watching boat down in Sea Isle City, and we saw nothing. We drove around in the ocean for an hour and saw nothing.
Wow.
You saw dolphins?
Yes. Did you have to pay for it?
Yeah, we paid for it. Of course we paid for it. It was a lot of money.
Dude, the dolphins were so close to the boat that I could have reached off the side of the boat and touched them.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It was awesome.
I feel like I got gypped now.
Oh yeah. You absolutely got
We
you.
saw absolutely nothing. We literally sat there with the wind blowing in our face and saw not a fish, not a dolphin, not a whale, nothing. Not even a stingray, nothing.
Wow.
No, it was a blast.
So they should have just given you your money back on that.
Yeah.
I would have wanted my money back on that.
I mean, we still had fun. I mean, we were still flying through the ocean in a high-speed boat.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, it was a dolphin-watching boat.
What was it? What was the boat called?
I forget off the top of my head. I know it was down at the very far end of Sea Isle City. And we went out in between AC and Sea Isle. We came out through the bay that way. And then we headed a few miles into the ocean. But we were out there for a good hour, and we saw absolutely nothing.
Wow. Yeah, we were down in Wildwood. It was not getting paid to say this, but yeah, we went on the Thundercat, and we went on the Thundercat, and there must have been a good 30 dolphins that were jumping through the water. Dude, they were like the wave that was created by the boat. The dolphins were swimming in the wave, and they were sideways looking at you on the boat. It was nuts.
So now, what was your kids' reaction when they saw the dolphins for the first time?
They were freaking amazed. They were amazed. These creatures that they've never seen before, other than in books and stuff and
On TV.
on TV. They were amazed.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome. I'm glad you guys actually got a good boat ride where you saw stuff. Unlike me, who got gypped. Still mad about it if you can't tell, and this was last year.
What if, I know people are just getting to know you, Danny, on here, but what have you been doing the past couple months?
So the past couple of months, actually, my wife and I and our two boys, we just moved to the Exton area. So now we live about 30 seconds away from Kevin Taylor. But we moved from Elverston down to Exton. So we've been trying to get settled in. We live in Rhonda now, which is an absolutely awesome community. A whole bunch of kids for my boys to play with. We have a third baby due in November, so we're getting ready for that. I'm pretty excited about that. And then we're actually getting ready to go on vacation in 2 weeks as well. Well, I wouldn't say 2 weeks, so it all depends on when you guys are listening to this. But August 19th to the 26th, we'll be away on vacation. We're going down to Sea Isle. and I'm not going on that damn boat again. I'm going on the Thundercat, and I want to see dolphins on the Thundercat.
Hopefully you're not like a jinx. So all right, that's awesome. I guess what have I done in the past 2 months? We've binged watched some great things on HBO. The Jinx, really good. If you've never seen it, The Jinx, you should see it. The Defiant Ones, the new 4-part miniseries with Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. Absolutely mind-blowing television. Actually, it's not TV, it's HBO. First of all.
I watched that and I was blown away by when Jimmy walks up onto Dre's deck and Dre was like, I think I'm going to start selling sneakers. And he was like, no, that's not it. You need to start selling speakers.
Yeah.
And that's when Beats by Dre happened.
It's so wild to see in the show, and there's not really a spoiler alert thing, but it shows you exactly where they came from, each of them individually, and at different times, obviously, because the first person that Jimmy Iovine produced for and like really did anything with was John Lennon. Like it just so happened that somebody that in the studio that he worked for called out of work, and they call him to come in and engineer and produce a session, and he comes walking in and it's John Lennon just sitting there waiting for him to get there so that he can start recording music. And it's amazing. And then Dr. Dre's obviously beginning with NWA, but what was he doing before that? I mean, and just everything leading up to Dr. Dre essentially becoming the first hip hop artist to become a billionaire. It also goes over like the time where Dr. Dre first met Eminem and all the struggle that was involved in building that, and it was just really good, really, really good. Been doing a lot of like family stuff. It's been a busy summer in that regard. Haven't gone on vacation yet, but I'm going in September. We're going down to Williamsburg, Virginia, renting a cabin. Full kitchen. You know what I'm saying?
You're on vacation.
Listen,
you're
man,
not supposed to cook.
I don't care. I'm gonna go kill something and cook it right on the spot. That's what I'm gonna do because we're gonna be
Cook it outside on the fire, not in the kitchen.
Well, I mean, but all right, good point. I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna do with the kitchen. I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe we'll I think there's a microwave in there or something. We'll make popcorn or something, right? I don't know. But bottom line, there's Wi-Fi and internet. I'm like trying to struggle to figure out because I haven't even been there, so I'm excited. But Williamsburg, we're going to go check out the Colonial Williamsburg, the Jamestown Colony, Busch Gardens. We're going to go there before we come home, all that good stuff. But overall, it's been a really busy summer for work, and I really hope that you, the listener, tell all your friends so I can quit my job and do this all the time. Just kidding. I know that's not how it works.
I work in a steel mill. I want to quit my job, so please. I work by 3,000 degree molten steel. I want to quit my job.
Kev, how's work going?
It's going. I just got a promotion. I was
All in.
warehouse lead, and then I just got moved to inside sales. It's fun stuff.
Good for you, Kev.
Yeah, good stuff.
Hey, so going back to the binge watching thing, have any of you guys seen Shameless?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, I have not.
What are your thoughts on Shameless?
I watched the first 3 seasons with Amy, and then I kind of fell off a little bit, so she went off without me. It's entertaining, but they are a complete dirtbag family.
They are, but that's what makes you love them. I mean, they are they're drunks. They have so many problems, but they always are there for each other. And Shameless is just one of those shows that you start watching, and I couldn't stop. I found myself wanting to watch that show the minute I woke up to the minute I went to sleep. And now I want to be a Gallagher. I want to hang out with Frank. I want to drink with Fiona. Liam wants to be my buddy. I mean, I want to be a Gallagher now. Shameless is a phenomenal show. If you haven't watched it, I believe it's on Showtime. I think seasons 1 through 7 are on Netflix now.
Yeah, yep.
I know 1 through 6 were. I think 7 was just released. But season 8 is coming out in October, and I'm so hyped to watch Shameless again. Just a phenomenal show.
What is that? That's on. You said it's on Netflix, right? But it's on Showtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It aired on Showtime, but they have the first how many seasons on Netflix?
So the last time I checked, it was the first 6 seasons were on Netflix, and then you had to download the Showtime app and watch season 7 on Showtime. But I think since they just started recording season 8, they've now added season 7 to Netflix as well. I believe. Don't take my word on that. But
If it's true, it might be news to you.
hey,
Boom. So, all right. So that's awesome. That's what we've been up to. I mean, I've done more. I've been just working a lot and binge watching cool TV. That's what it is. That's what life is. And Game of Thrones is on right now, which is awesome. If you're right now, we're recording it. It's this is Sunday, August 6th. We're recording right now, and I can't fucking wait for Game of Thrones tonight. I can't fucking wait.
can we have a confession real quick?
Yes.
I've never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones.
Kev.
Don't waste your time.
My honest opinion about Game of Thrones, and I know that this is something that Kev probably couldn't do, and that's why he doesn't like it. You have to make it through the first 9 episodes.
Yeah.
You have to dedicate.
First 3.
You have to dedicate yourself to make it through the end of season 1, because all of season 1 is just a bunch of people standing around talking about some stuff that you don't understand, using names and words that you don't understand, but then all of the sudden the end of the season hits and you're like, how is this going to continue? What did I just see? I mean, they take everybody's favorite characters and just they shit on you. You as the watcher, the listener, the watcher, the viewer, the person who reads the books. I haven't read any of the books. I tried to. It's just too crazy. But I'm telling you, Game of Thrones, there's nothing like it on TV. There's no other show that has compelled me the way that Game of Thrones has. And where they are now in the show, it's kind of rewarding to see some of the stuff that's happening because, for example, spoiler alert, one of the chicks has dragons. That happens at the end of the first season. But they're tiny babies, right? Now in the show, there's only a total, as of today, there's only 10 episodes left of the show, period, and before it's over. And these dragons are completely unbelievable, huge. They just destroy everything. So you go from that boring stuff to where it is now, and it's like, holy shit. Like, Kev, I'm looking at you because I know that your attention deficit, whatever, prevented you from making it past 3 episodes.
Yeah, because I'd absolutely rather turn on my PlayStation and play a game of hockey while my wife is watching Game of Thrones.
But see, I can understand that. Like, I have a problem getting sucked into a show if it doesn't get me involved in the first 1 or 2 episodes. To watch 9 it's that good to sit through 9 episodes to get going for the rest of the.
There's intriguing stuff happening. Like, for example, 2 of the main seeming. If you start Game of Thrones today, you'll see brother and sister having sex with each other, which is weird. And some people might just be like, well, shit, I don't want to watch this. This is gross. Some people are probably going to sit there and be like, why are they banging and how long are they going to continue to bang throughout the show? I'm interested in that. But then they also throw some kid off a balcony. So what's up with that? Then they do these other things. There's a whole monarch, king, queen thing happening, and you have to figure out what's going on. And the person who you think is the main character, all of a sudden I can't go into it. I don't even know.
So they're actually brother and sister.
Yeah. Jaime Lannister and Cersei Lannister are brother. They're twins.
They're not like stepbrother, stepsister,
No,
brother-in-law,
and
sister-in-law. It's brother and sister.
No. And they bang all the time.
Wow.
Early on.
Dan, I'm going to give you some advice. If you do want to watch the show, go for it, because I'm 100% a hater about everything.
He is a hater about everything. He is a hater about everything, and I'm glad that he admits that because I don't think he would have admit that last season.
And that is why I'm on the show now to kind of balance out the hatred from this side of the table.
Well, that way I can say something like, "Man, I just did this," and I have somebody that might also enjoy that, and as instead of just having Kev like,
That's whack.
"That's whack.
That's whack.
That's whack. That sucks. You suck for doing that. That's whack." Say what up, Kev. That's whack. No, Game of Thrones. I mean, before Game of Thrones, I would say that like I got into The Wire really late in my life, and I binged watched all of The Wire, and I loved it, and I thought it was the greatest show ever made. Even I haven't seen all of The Sopranos, but The Wire was that for me. And then I got into Game of Thrones, and I was like, well, this is pretty good. But then now, where we are, and obviously, depending on how it all ends, it's got to be the greatest show ever made. Special effects, certainly. Story, definitely. I mean, it's huge, and it just keeps going and going and going. And some of the one-liners in the show are just so incredibly gangster. So incredibly gangster. Like, you watch the show, and when you get into it, you realize that you're dealing with a bunch of stone-cold killers. Like, everybody in the show is just ruthless. And so they start shooting one-liners at each other, little zingers, and it gets real gangster real quick. I love it.
All right, we're going to go from one extreme to the other. You know what my favorite show of all time is? We're going to go from dragons and brothers and sisters having sex all the way to frickin' Michael Scott in The Office.
The Office. Yeah, it's a
The
good one.
Office.
It's a good one.
I mean, I cannot get enough of The Office. I'm that type of person that'll see there's new shows on Netflix. Nope, I'm doing a rerun of The Office. I got to watch The Office.
Yeah.
What is your? Could you say what your favorite? Because I'm right there with you. That is my all-time favorite comedy sitcom TV show type deal. What is your favorite episode?
My favorite episode is, I believe it's called The Banker. It's when they come to do like an evaluation of the entire office, and they keep doing flashbacks of the funniest moments. Okay. Like the guy says, "Are there any sexual conduct things that we need to know about before we try to buy the office?" And they go back to every time Dwight did something that was inappropriate, or every time Michael had a "that's what she said" joke. It's all the flashbacks of all very funny stuff, and it's one of my favorite episodes for that reason.
My favorite episode is when what is his name? He makes his own ringtone. Jim throws Andy. I was drawing a blank.
The Nard dog.
When Andy gets his cell phone thrown into the ceiling, and Jim keeps ringing the cell phone, and he punches a hole in the wall. Oh, that was hilarious.
I don't know. It's hard to pick. I can't pick a favorite episode, but my favorite prank in the show that Jim did to Dwight has to be when he put pennies in his phone every day for a year. And then, like, one day he took them all out, so he fucking punched himself in the face. I laughed so hard when that happened. And it's only like a 30-second part of some episode. I don't even know what episode it is. But then also where Jim is working, I guess, in New York or someplace, and he's, like, sending Dwight, like, faxes from the future. I couldn't freaking believe that. I thought it was so funny.
How about when Jim was out and they hired their family friend to portray Jim on the show, and he was a Chinese guy. And Dwight is losing his mind because he literally thinks that he's losing his mind because he didn't realize that Jim was Chinese the whole time.
Dude, what was even when the breath mints with Dwight, where Jim's computer dings and he gives him breath mint, dude, that show is genius.
I agree. That and Parks and Rec. I like Parks and Rec too. I haven't watched all of Parks and Rec like I watched all of The Office, but The Office is incredible. Anyway, we'll switch gears a little bit. We just went off on a huge thing, but that's cool.
That's what this new season's about.
That's the new format. We're doing new things, big things. Kev, tell them big things.
Big things.
So we're gonna do that, and one thing I wanted to talk about, because we're gonna take a little break here for a second. With being on this new format and wanting to be on a new platform with iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff. If you listened to us last season, I played a lot of music because I enjoy music. That's like one of my favorite things. Is just great music of all kinds. I played a lot of music last season, and this season I'm not going to be doing that, just strictly because I can't. Season 1 was totally illegal, and I can't do that. I can, but I can't put it on iTunes. I can't put it out there for everyone to hear it. So I'm just going to play some stuff. I met with a couple guys last week as far as wanting to be I'm doing the quotation things.
Quote marks.
If you can hear them in the microphone. To be our house band. I'm trying to get somebody just to have some music for us in the background while we're talking. And also just to take breaks, because we're going to want to take a couple minute breaks here and there. But I'm going to play something. We'll be right back, and we're going to come back with What's the Point and our late review for this week, which we'll get into in just a second. Be right back. Okay, we're back. Welcome back to Might Be News. I'm Taylor Cooper. With me, as always, co-host Kev. What up, Kev?
Yo.
We got the new co-host Dan. Say what up, Dan.
What up, guys?
So we're back at it. We're in my dining room. It's a beautiful dining room.
It's gorgeous.
Anyway, yeah, so that was a song, that beat we just played there. It's called Far Out. It's produced by Just Green, whoever he is, and a guy named Josh Frary on guitars with me. I'm sorry, with Just Green, who is not me. But yeah, like I was saying before we went on a little break, we're hopefully next week we're going to have something from a group of guys that call themselves Blazing Saddles, and that sounds like some honky-tonk stuff, but it's not. It's very cool music. They're gonna I'm gonna work with them and produce some things. Hopefully, to give us a nice vibe as we're, for things that are behind us, and for also just like that, taking a little break from doing it just for a minute. So anyway, we're gonna do a new segment that we're gonna do every week called "What's the Point?" Now, I explained it a little bit before, but this is where each one of us is gonna bring something to the table, and we're just gonna talk about it for a couple minutes. So here we go. What's the point?
Is there a point to this? What is your
Are
point?
you just gonna sit there and look stupid?
All right, so what's the point? My point for this week, and I was stuck between a couple things, but this one stuck out to me just because football season is right around the corner. Yay! Yay!
Go Eagles!
Yay, Kev.
Boo.
Kev goes boo. So I'm excited for football. I know Danny's excited for football. Go Birds. But they just released this thing with the CTE, talking about 99% of people that were tested for it that played football or pro football players came back with this degenerative disease. They did a study. It's the largest of its kind, and all those studies were required to have football as their primary exposure to head trauma. The criteria for submitting a brain was based on exposure to repetitive head trauma, regardless of whether that individual exhibited symptoms during their lifetime. There was 202 brains that they looked at. Of the 222, CTE was found in 177 of them. The disease was identified in 110 out of 111 former NFL players. All but one. It was also found in 3 of the 14 high school players, 48 out of 53 college players. This study included brains of individuals who have been publicly confirmed to have had the disease, including Ken Stabler, Kevin Turner, Bubba Smith, and Dave Durlson. For the NFL, it was 44 linemen, 20 running backs, 17 defensive backs, 13 linebackers, 7 quarterbacks, 5 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and 2 kickers.
So even the kickers are getting
Even the kickers are getting it. But see, that's how many people they tested. So when I read that little stat of who got tested in what position, it didn't make difference to me because all of the 110 out of 111 had it. So basically, if you were to test, I'm curious if they were to test, 110 linemen or 110 defensive backs or whatever. But my point with this, and it's not necessarily how crazy this is, because this is crazy, but the study also confirms that kids playing football are not susceptible or as susceptible to this. I think it's a long-term thing. If you make it to the NFL, you're playing football for decades to get there. And if you're good enough to get in the NFL, chances are you're either taking hits or dishing out hits that are good enough to get you there. You know what I mean? So, my point with this is that the NFL has had trouble publicly acknowledging it, that this is a problem. They've given promises to give money to get it studied, and they're not really following through with that either. I think that Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, boo, would look like a saint if he said, "Here, doctors, here's $1 billion. Find me a way to diagnose people with CTE without them having to be dead to test them for it." Because right now, you have to basically donate your brain to science to have them study it or test it to see if you have CTE. They cannot tell if you have it. Obviously, there's symptoms, headaches, I think what do they say? Hallucinations might be some of them. Loss of memory, motor functions. Depression's one of them because a lot of them committed suicide. A lot of these brains that they studied, they committed suicide. Here's $1 billion. Find a way to definitively tell me if these people have CTE so they can treat it while they're still alive. I mean, there would be right now the NFL is facing a PR nightmare. They've got all these players out there talking about, well, we know what we signed up for, but then you look at some of these guys that just got inducted into the Hall of Fame last night. Terrell Davis spoke out about it. There's a couple people out there that are just like, guys, this is a real problem. And you're going to start seeing players retire early, which maybe that's not a bad thing.
There was just a 26-year-old player that just retired.
Yeah, I've read something
about
that.
And that was one of his reasons was he wanted to be in good health for his family, going further after the NFL because, I mean, a lot of the NFL players say, the NFL stands for not for long because your career is so short in the NFL, and they're worried about their health down the road because of studies like this coming out that's showing, 110 out of 111 people are having this problem.
It's crazy. I mean, 99%. 99%. That's incredible. And I mean, I watched the movie, the concussion movie, Will Smith, breaking the news to everybody, and that was crazy. And you look at it a couple years later, and it's like 99%. Like when I watched the movie, I was just kind of under the impression that, like these defensive backs probably. People that are flying across the field and just hitting people as hard as they can. I can see it. But all these positions, linemen aren't hitting people. I mean, they're hitting people, but like they're basically standing in one spot though, right? I mean, 44 linemen they tested, all of them came back. Running backs, I can see that. People are trying to kill running backs. Defensive backs, I said. Linebackers, probably too. I mean, quarterbacks getting smeared too. But, like, don't come out with a safer helmet. Give them a way to diagnose it now so that they can treat it while they're alive. That's it. I think that it has to happen. And also the CTE conversation, they ran this test on 202 brains, Kev, of people who played in the NFL. I'm curious how many people that play in the NHL would have these problems. Because we discussed this a little bit last year when we were talking about CTE and the NHL and things. The NFL is a big business. And they probably could say, here's $1 billion to figure this out. Because they'll make it right back. The NHL, I don't know if they have the money to do something like that, but also to pay old players that have problems.
That's the difference between the NHL and the NFL. When these guys that are playing football are going so hard and they have helmet, not that they're purposely doing helmet-to-helmet contact and shit like that, stuff like that, but NHL, there's no contact with the head. That is full-on illegal, period. Yeah. And that's a huge step that they've taken to try to do you think though that like there's guys out there that are fighting a lot and stuff like that that might have something to do with it down the line too though? I mean, yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
A lot of the times though, if you look at it, it's not helmet to helmet contact. It is a running back running the ball, and when he gets hit so hard, his head and body make the motion. They go in two separate directions. And that's causing a lot of injuries too. Also when they're falling to the ground and they're smacking their heads on the ground. That's why they're trying to look at different types of fields or almost like cushions to put underneath the turf to try to absorb just a little bit of that impact from that head snapping and hitting the ground. Because that's where a lot of the injuries are coming from as well.
Well, and I agree with that. I was just talking about it last night. Talking about, like, I feel insensitive because you standing around talking about football. Past couple years, they've made a lot of rule changes, basically in direct correlation with trying to make this better. But I sit there, I'm like, they're making the game for pussies and I want to see them out there smashing each other. And hey, fine. Make the game, it's a barbaric sport to begin with. You're out there trying to kill everybody. It's fine. Great. And like some of these players are saying, they know what they signed up for. So expect shorter NFL careers, but put that money out there to find a way to diagnose it while they're alive. They already, they're giving some retired players up to $5 million per retired player for serious medical conditions associated with repeated head trauma. That's what the NFL's doing. $5 million, that's great, but like they don't know what they're looking for because they're still alive and they can't even test for this stuff. I mean, obviously, if they have constant headaches and yada yada, then they're going to prescribe them something. But they don't even know if what they're going to try and do to fix it is going to fix it because they don't know if that's definitively what it is. You know what I'm saying?
For all the injuries that come with this, all the backlash, all the long-term health, you think $5 million is even enough?
I mean, you look at some of the salaries of some of these players, and you think, wow, that's staggering. That's a huge number. But then you look at people that are on like the practice squad that are still out there Monday through Friday taking big hits in practice or whatever. I mean, I know they're not hitting like they used to in practice anymore either, but I mean, all it takes is a couple concussions for this to be an issue for you down the line, which freaks me out because as a non-football player, well, I got one concussion as a high school football player, but I've had 2 or 3 documented concussions in my adult lifetime that, you know, I have headaches from time to time, and I can't remember what the hell I was doing a couple minutes ago sometimes. And so that kind of freaks me out, you know, but also I'm a stoner. So I don't know if that also has anything to do with it as well, so I don't know.
Marijuana affects the memory.
So that's my point for the week, and that was fun, right? That was fun. Yeah. So, Kev, we're just going to go around in a little circle here. What's your point for this week?
I have been full on into this NHL beta that came out 2 weeks ago. The NHL beta for NHL 18 is absolutely amazing. If anybody that's listening to this plays video games, let alone video games, a hockey video game, this thing is amazing. You need to run out and get it. You need to say, screw the freaking Pittsburgh Penguins and Sidney Crosby. I can't stand that dude, but I love this video. Dude, they got this new thing. Where you can jam the L1 button and the right stick at the same time. He'll stick his stick between his legs and shoot it or pass it.
See, we're sitting here watching Kev talk about this.
And he actually just he made the motion of doing it.
He made the motion of hitting the button on the controller, and then he made the motion of what he was doing with the stick. He's totally into it. I can tell he loves this game. But Kev's always loved these NHL games, and I will say this, that I've always enjoyed hockey games, like video games, more than I've enjoyed like NBA games. I always loved Madden, but like I haven't played Madden in a few years, so like I feel like if I pick up a controller and try Madden again, then I'll be so far behind because they bring new crap in every year that you can do, like whatever the hell you just did. But yeah, that's cool. I always enjoyed the NHL games.
Go out and get it. It is too much fun, but that's all I got.
Danny, you got a point for this week?
Yeah, I got a point. I know I'm going to upset a few people. Probably Kev right next to me. I'm glad Jackie's in the other room right now. Man, ranch dressing is horrible. Ranch dressing. What's the point of putting it on pizza and French fries and chicken nuggets and everything? It's the sound of ranch, the smell of it, the look of it. I hate ranch dressing with a passion. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why, but I think ranch dressing should be illegal, so we don't have to smell it.
It's delicious.
It is not delicious. What do you like about ranch dressing?
It's creamy deliciousness.
Blue cheese.
Blue cheese is garbage.
Are you? Listen, ranch dressing is the Sidney Crosby of dressing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
no,
is.
it's not. All right,
No.
all right. Let me take it a step further. If ranch dressing is so bad with the bacon craze that's going on,
Yo, don't bring bacon.
they
do
put
not,
no.
Do not bring bacon into this. We're talking about this is my point. Ranch dressing and bacon should not even be in the same sentence right now.
They put bacon in ranch dressing.
Yeah, to make it better. Because it's trash.
He has a good point.
Because bacon makes everything better.
It does. It does.
They said,
Do
"Oh,
they put bacon in blue cheese?
Of course they do.
I've never seen it.
Well, you need to get out there more and get away from the ranch dressing then, Kev.
Yeah.
But they take ranch dressing and go, man, this tastes like shit. Let's go ahead and put some bacon in it. See if we can make it taste better. That's my point. Ranch dressing. Nope.
Get out of here with that ranch dressing. That's Danny's point. So I like that. I'm not. I could go either way on ranch. Like I put ranch on turkey sandwiches with some bacon.
Put mayo on instead, man. Don't put the ranch on.
Mayo is my ranch. I can't do mayo.
I'm with Dan on that. I'll put mayo on my sandwich every day. But ranch dressing, I'll put my wings in it. I'll dip fries in it.
I don't even know what mayo is. What is mayo? You said you don't know what ranch dressing and where does it come from? What is mayonnaise?
I don't know. It's good.
Can either one of you spell mayonnaise?
Mayo. Mayo.
All right, so that's what's the point for this week, and we're running out of time. So quickly, we're gonna do this late review. And what late review is, before I play the cool little jingle thing, what late review is that each week we're gonna pick an album of any genre, any band, any rapper, any composer, any whatever. We're gonna pick an album or maybe a movie or something to review. Late. Where it could come out anytime. It could be something from the 70s, 80s, 90s, today, whatever. It could be any time. It could be brand new. It doesn't matter. But we're still going to be late because that's just what the name of the damn segment is. So, this week, in honor of Chester Bennington just committing suicide from Linkin Park, we're going to talk a little bit about their new album, One More Light. I know it's a little late, but...
You're just hearing about this?
Can't believe I'm just hearing
Why
about
didn't I know about this sooner?
All right, so Linkin Park's One More Light. It came out this year. It's brand new. I think it came out only a couple months ago. Real short album, 10 songs. My first listen to it, which I listened to it when it came out, I liked it, but it was very poppy for me. Now, some people, say what you want about Linkin Park. This is their 7th album, I think. They have an album for anybody and everybody. You start out with Hybrid Theory, and it's harder, but it's like this, rap rock, thing that's going on that not a lot of people do very well, in my opinion. But that's a classic album. You go back to that, This album is very poppy. It's very produced. It's like beats instead of songs, but it's very good in my opinion. I like all the lyrics. I liked. There's my least favorite song is the one they have on the radio. The heavy song. That's my least favorite song. Literally, I give this out of 10 tracks, I like 9 of them, and for what it is, I didn't think that I was going to. I enjoy Linkin Park all throughout their careers. I'm really sad that Chester Bennington did what he did and that he's gone. It sucks. But one of my favorite songs. See, I listened to this album before he died, and then I listened to it after he died and heard it a completely different way. And when I first listened to the song or to the album, I would have had to say that the song number 4, Battle Symphony, was probably my favorite song. But now that he's gone and going back and listening to it, the title track, One More Light, has to be my favorite. It's an incredibly sung song by him, and I've never really been like that big of a fan of his voice, but I get it. Like it's a part of the band, and he's kind of an instrument in that, just like everyone else is. But great album in my opinion. I think everybody should check it out. Danny, what'd you think?
Going off of what you just said, listening to the album before Chester Bennington passed away to now, the songs just have a lot more meaning behind it. And Taylor, you just told me that the song I'm going to talk about real quick, which is Sorry for Now, it has a whole different meaning than if you listen to it now after he passed away. I'm going to read you a few lyrics and just listen to what he says. He says, "I'll be sorry for now that I couldn't be around. Sometimes things refuse to go the way we planned. Oh, I'm sorry for now that I couldn't be around. There will be a day that you will understand." He also says, "After a while, you may forget, but just in case the memories cross your mind, you couldn't know this when I left, under the fire of your angry eyes, that I never wanted to say goodbye." You listen to that before Chester passed away, and you can think one thing. Taylor, you said it was the one guy writing that song for his kid.
Yeah, it was Mike Shinoda, the rapper, I guess, part of the group. He actually wrote that song as a letter to his kids about why they're, him being on tour all the time and just basically being away from home.
And now listening to it, after everything, went down with Chester, it pretty much hits home because, everybody has demons that, they don't like to bring to the light. And apparently there was a bunch of people that knew that Chester was dealing with these demons. And a lot of the times he wrote about them in his song. And sometimes, sadly, the demons can get the best of you. There's always people out there to talk to about these demons. But for him to say, "I never wanted to say goodbye," it kind of hits home that, he didn't want to say goodbye, but the demons got the best of him.
I went back and listened to all of their music. Like every album after he killed himself. I went back and I listened to every album, and it had that effect on me throughout their entire catalog. I listened to their songs a completely different way 2 months ago as I do now. And any of their songs can come on the radio or randomly on my phone, and I will be listening to it almost like it's the first time hearing it since he died. And it's very powerful stuff because even things that like I didn't catch before, certain words that he used and things that he said in his songs, his lyrics, I didn't hear it one way the first time, but after he's been gone and things that they've been talking about with him, it totally makes sense now. And I was just totally shocked that he had 6 kids.
6 kids. And the sad part is, he was really good friends with Chris Cornell. And he did this on Chris Cornell's birthday. And, it's just listening to the whole album, it really opens your eyes. But, like Taylor said, it was an awesome album. I used to think that in the very beginning, all Linkin Park sounds sounded alike. They all sounded like they had the same beat. But this is completely different. It's a really good album to listen to.
It's good. I had a barbecue a few weeks ago, and I just put it on. I just put the album on, and it's got a good vibe throughout. Kev, I know you're writing some things down, but what did you think about the album?
I thought that it was spooky. I actually listened to it last night. I did not listen to it prior to him committing suicide. I listened to it after. I listened to it last night. Even just the first track it hit me, and I'm not an emotional person, but it's like the first time I've been sad while I was mowing the grass. It was wild to just hear him speak those lyrics, and that it's almost like a this is what's coming, and this is my note to people as to why.
It was almost like his goodbye note.
Yeah.
It was almost like he used that album to tell everybody, what was going on in his life, right, why he was doing this, and that he truly is sorry.
Yeah. And it's crazy because they're getting ready to go on tour right now, the band. I mean, I don't know how they're going to now, but when it happened, they were just about to go.
So did they officially cancel their tour yet?
That I don't know.
Put it on hold to try to figure out what they're going to do, because even his bandmates, they don't know how to go on after this.
Right.
I mean, he's the lead singer, and now that huge part of Linkin Park is gone.
I mean, they made a statement saying that they're going to continue to make music, but I don't know what they're going to do, because his voice was a huge part of that band, top to bottom, and he obviously wrote a lot of the lyrics for the band as well. It's just really sad stuff. Really sad stuff. So, but that's our late review for this week. Everybody should go check out the newest Linkin Park album, Last Light, or One More Light. Sorry, is that what it is?
Yeah, One More Light.
Because I like I said, I've been a big fan of Linkin Park throughout their whole career, but it kind of fell off for a little while when they started making songs for all the Transformer movies, and you couldn't escape them. You just could not turn on the radio without hearing something by Linkin Park. So they got a little overplayed for me a little bit there, but I still dig their sound. So, Kev, what are you doing over there? Are you trying to do some This Week in History before we get out of here for the end of the season premiere? It's been a decent season premiere, right? I think it was good and entertaining. We're really glad to have Danny on board. Pretty happy to have Kev back as well. What do you got here, Kev?
August 6th, today, This Week in History, 1945, we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima.
And this day in history, we dropped the bomb on you guys with Might Be News, even though this probably isn't going to happen August 6th, because it's August 6th right now, and we have to wait until iTunes tells us that it's okay to put this online. So you're right, Kev. I don't even know why I'm having you do this right now that we think about it. It was a stupid idea. Yeah. So
Well,
when
let me
we
get this out.
Yeah.
NASA also announced that there's possibly life on Mars in 1996. That's what I got.
Life on Mars.
Yeah. There was possibly life on Mars. They announced that in 1996.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll do more This Week in History when we actually, because how it works is Apple and Google need to make sure that we're not doing anything illegal on our podcast. So it takes up to a couple weeks for them to approve the first episode, but it shouldn't take that long to do the rest of them. So once we get this on there, like I said in the beginning, if you're listening to this on Apple or Google, we did it right. If you're not, then we suck at what we're trying to do. Go out there, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Might Be News 24/7. That's Might Be News 247 on Twitter. The three of us are going to start getting pretty active on there with that, so check in with us. We want to know what you think of the new Linkin Park album. We want to think about what you think about any of the stuff that we talk about. What are your thoughts on CTE for the NFL, for hockey, for anything? What are your thoughts on any of the cool TV shows that we talked about? And we're looking forward to going through the rest of the season, however long that's going to be. Just kind of trying to cut loose a little bit, and some of it might be news to you. Take it a little less serious. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of season 2 of Might Be News. With me, as always, co-host Kev. Say peace out, Kev.
See you later, guys.
And co-host Danny.
All right, guys, I had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to an exciting season.
And thank you guys for being here. I will check back with you guys next time. Have a good one.